When the clock strikes midnight, time runs out to stop a partial government shutdown. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, January 30th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Cast your mind back to October. That's when the federal government closed for the longest period in U.S. history. Now, another shutdown is expected at the end of the day. But this time, it's just a partial one. 6 of 12 annual bills that fund the government have already been signed into law. But the departments that are still unfunded make up the bulk of discretionary funding, and they include some of the largest federal agencies, including the Defense Department and Health and Human Services. The holdup this time has been over a Democratic demand to separate out funding for the Department of Homeland Security after federal immigration authorities killed Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. Senate Democrats said yesterday Republicans had agreed to that demand. They will fund DHS for 2 weeks to give them time to hash out a deal to impose new restrictions on immigration enforcement. But even if the Senate gets it done today, a short funding lapse is all but assured. That's because the House, which is scheduled to be out of town until Monday, would also need to pass the bill. Many federal prosecutors in Minneapolis are on the verge of quitting. That's number 2. The federal judicial system in Minnesota has begun to crack under the strain of President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement surge in the state. The Post reported yesterday that federal prosecutors are deeply frustrated by the Justice Department's response to the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy this month. At least one prosecutor resigned this week. Others have suggested that they could resign en masse. That would leave the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota unable to handle its current caseload. And at least a half dozen prosecutors resigned earlier this month after top Justice Department officials told prosecutors not to investigate the shooting of Good, but instead to try and build a case against her partner. Number 3. ICE is buying warehouses to convert into detention centers. ICE plans to overhaul industrial warehouses in 23 towns across the country. This month, the agency bought one in Maryland for $102 million and one in Arizona for $70 million. The plan is to convert the warehouses into detention centers to hold between 1,500 and 10,000 detainees each. ICE has offered few details about its warehouse plan since the Post first reported on it last month. But residents and local officials are raising logistical and humanitarian concerns. Experts have warned that it will be difficult to bring the industrial buildings up to federal standards in the short time before ICE plans to begin holding people in them. Most are just empty shells of buildings, and some have issues with temperature control and water supply. Number 4. Tulsi Gabbard's appearance at an FBI raid in Fulton County is raising questions. On Wednesday, the FBI executed a search warrant at a warehouse in Fulton County, Georgia. Agents seized ballots from the 2020 election and other voting materials. It was a significant escalation of Trump's efforts to challenge his 2020 election loss. But there was a surprising official photographed at the scene on Wednesday, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Her job is usually focused on foreign intelligence, so her presence in Georgia has stunned lawmakers. Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman Mark Warner, a Virginia Democrat, questioned it at a hearing yesterday. He said there could only be 2 explanations for her presence at the raid. The first was that she thought there was a foreign intelligence connection and had failed to inform intelligence committees. Or the second option,
she is simply attempting to inject the nonpartisan intelligence community into a domestic political stunt designed to legitimize conspiracy theories that undermine our democracy.
In a statement, the White House said Gabbard, quote, has a pivotal role in election security. The First Lady took center stage at the premiere of Melania. That's our fifth story. Melania is a new documentary starring and executive produced by Melania Trump herself. Last night, she was uncharacteristically talkative at the Kennedy Center opening of the film, flanked by her husband and cabinet officials.
Well, my life, it's incredible busy. A lot of is going on. I want to show the people what it takes to go from private citizen to being a First Lady again. They will see me, all of the tasks that I need to do, from preparing to inauguration, running my business, family, and philanthropy.
Melania was licensed by Amazon for $40 million. That's the highest price ever paid for a documentary. And Amazon reportedly spent another $35 million on promotion. Our usual disclosure here, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos owns the Post. The film has a controversial director, Brett Ratner. This was his first project since 2017, when multiple women accused him of sexual harassment and misconduct at the height of the Me Too movement. Ratner has disputed the allegations. Number 6. Millions of Americans could be impacted by a powerful nor'easter this weekend. Across the U.S., around 160 million people are under alerts related to the storm and the extreme cold that it's expected to bring. Heavy snow, frigid temperatures, strong winds, and coastal flooding are forecast from the southeast to New England. At its peak, this storm's strength will be equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane. If you live in eastern Georgia, the Carolinas, southern Virginia, or eastern Massachusetts, sorry, you're likely to get the worst of the storm. If you'd like a more detailed weather forecast, hit the link to our newsletter. Find that in our show notes. And please, be careful out there. And at number 7, new research shows that you can lengthen your own life by improving someone else's. Many people look forward to spending their retirement years doing as little as possible. That's certainly my vision. But our columnist Dana Milbank met some people taking a very different approach. They are the super volunteers. These are older people who spend their time writing articles for nonprofits, driving wheelchair vans, helping local ambulance services, and more. According to research, all this running around helping others is also good for them. A study last year found that those aged 62 and over who reported volunteering had blood markers showing slower biological aging. That is linked to better cognitive, physical, and immune function. So maybe you should look at some volunteering opportunities this weekend. Everyone will think you're a really great person. They don't have to know you're secretly trying to live forever. That's the show for this week. The associate producer of The Seven is Taylor White. The staff writers are Jamie Ross, Izan Akabau, and me. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.